Hi everyone, my name is Marissa Sproles. Hope everyone is staying safe. My proposal is on human predator species conflict in Rhode Island and what are the necessary steps to prevent it. Rhode Island may be the smallest state, but it has the third highest population density in the country, with an average of 1,022 people for every square mile. Between 1960 and 1995, the amount of developed commercial and residential land in the state has more than doubled, with the state's population only growing by 19%. This has led to an increased competition for land between humans and our local wildlife. The wildlife has seen their habitats disappear, and food sources and resources that they need to survive become limited. This has led to people seeing an increase in wildlife in their neighborhoods and their own backyards. Predator species commonly seen in Rhode Island are the eastern coyote, red fox, raccoon, and raptor species such as the red-tailed hawk, turkey vultures, etc. North American bobcat and black bears are seeing a comeback in the state as well, and people are beginning to see evidence of them entering neighborhoods. Government agencies such as the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management and nonprofits such as the Wildlife Clinic of Rhode Island receive many complaints and calls of concern from citizens who are worried about these species being seen near their homes. The biggest concern is safety. They are worried about their own safety, the safety of their children and grandchildren, and their pets. An animal of prominent concern is the eastern coyote. They are often seen running through neighborhoods and backyards, and people are unsure of how to respond. Past studies have found that 96% of urban areas had resident coyotes, and out of those areas, 74% of them had conflict. The study also found that coyotes can tolerate high levels of human activity when protective cover is nearby, which means suburban areas near forested patches are more likely to see a higher rate of coyote activity. Human-wildlife conflict often favors humans by giving them more options. Pest control companies can come out for a large fee to trap and euthanize the nuisance animal, and property owners are allowed to trap and kill animals found in their yards. People tend to be selective with what species they want to protect or have removed. Bird feeders are a great way to promote a variety of bird species in your backyard, but it also attracts predators, which many people dislike and call for removal. Removing predator species is detrimental to their population and overall not helpful. It makes room for other predators to enter the area if the food source is not removed. These pictures were taken at the Wildlife Clinic of Rhode Island. The den was under the finder's porch, and they noticed that the parents had not been back in a few days, and the babies were wandering around the yard crying out. Their neighbors had called a pest control company that had trapped and killed the parents, leaving the babies helpless. Their stomachs were full of dirt, and they were severely malnourished. 2 of them did not survive the night, but 2 of them were released later in the season. By educating the public on the predators that can be seen in the area and what methods can be used to prevent them from entering the yard without harming the animal, we will be able to lessen the impact on the overall population. This will also encourage people to expand their knowledge on other species and possibly learn to appreciate an animal that they once feared. My proposal is to use online surveys in order to map out where there are the most predator conflict in the state and what species are the biggest concern in each area. I will use online surveys through SurveyMonkey, which will ask 11 questions that should take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. The questions will ask just general questions about the person who's taking the survey, such as their gender and age, their current occupation, and what town or city that they currently reside in. It will also ask questions about predator species that they have seen in the area, like what species they're seeing, what they were doing, how the person reacted to these species, and how did the predator respond to them. It will also ask the survey taker to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how they feel about predator species in their area, what their level of comfortability in the wilderness is, and how they would rate their knowledge on wildlife. The surveys will be distributed online and posted on the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management social media accounts. The initial questions will be used to get a better understanding on the type of people who are filling out these surveys. This will give me an idea of their current knowledge of wildlife, and I can rank it against their feelings and reactions to the predators in the area. I will be looking for patterns among the different groups to see if there is one group over another that shows more concern and how we can figure out how to work with them more closely. I will create graphs that show the presence and absence of each predator and will calculate the most common nuisance species in each area. I will also create a graph that shows the level of fear that people feel towards each species. With this information, I can create maps that show the highest level of predator conflict throughout the state. I will also create guides that provide methods on how to prevent conflict. Current methods that are already in effect are reducing food sources, such as covering trash cans or removing bird feeders, and aggressively hazing predators that are spotted in the area. I will use the information collected from the poll to see if anyone has tried hazing techniques and how effective they are to the predators of Rhode Island. This information will be used to create more solid, effective methods that we can use. The guide will be distributed to Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, Division of Fish and Wildlife, to put on their website. They are currently revamping their website and are creating a page dedicated to wildlife. This page will include current wildlife species in the state and will also have a section dedicated to nuisance species. The information and graphs that I create can be used in this section for the general public's information on what types of predators are prominent throughout the state. Additionally, the methods that I create for a guide will also be posted on the website to help the general public find fast, easy information on how to deal with predator conflict. The guides will also be distributed to the wildlife managers throughout the department for them to use when answering calls and questions from the public. Other organizations that can benefit are the Wildlife Clinic of Rhode Island, animal control officers, the Environmental Police, Audubon Society, and many more. The information and data collected from this study will help lessen the pressure on wildlife managers and others to develop protocols for dealing with wildlife conflict. It will also help relieve the stress and fear from members of the public by creating a fast and easy way to receive information. With the number of developments increasing to keep up with our growing population, we need to prepare for an increase in the amount of conflicts that occur with wildlife, especially predator species. This has become a growing concern as animals such as the eastern coyote are seen more frequently in residential areas. This study will help me determine which species are of the greatest concern and what areas in the state need the most guidance. The methods that I develop to help the public and organizations deal with predator conflict should lead towards less involvement of pest control companies in these situations, which will ultimately preserve the wildlife population. That is all I have. Any feedback would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for your time.